This is a podcast from the Queen City Podcast Network.
Welcome to Nerd School.
Nerds! Nerds! Nerds!
Yeah.
Suck it, nerd!
Nerds! Nerds! Nerds!
Suck it, nerd!
Nerds! Nerds! Nerds!
Suck it, nerd!
Welcome to Nerd School.
Oh yeah. Recording now, so
Here we go again.
we can hear Art Star's recorded farts. And go, Art Star.
Oh no,
Fart Symphony.
no. And then you did it. Stop.
that's
Honestly.
fitting with this movie.
I don't know why people.
There's a lot
like,
of turd
these are the-
humor, fart
Yeah.
jokes.
There
This-
is.
The turd joke I could not believe when I first heard it. I could not believe I had just heard that conversation happen
I'm gonna put
in,
it.
in a Marvel movie in general.
Yes.
Right.
I couldn't get over that for like the next 20 minutes of the movie when I first saw it. I have famously huge turds.
Well, it's not even that he says that. He's just like, ha ha. Yep, that's right.
Oh, that's
See,
great.
up till that point, okay, they're bantering back and forth, they're insulting each other, blah blah blah. Okay, I can see them. Rocket
Yeah.
say, "I'm gonna put a turd in your thing." Okay, but Drax laughing and saying, "I have famously huge turds."
It's not my
just-
turds. It's Drax's turds.
I could
Yes.
not. I could not process that. Like
Yes.
I didn't come out of it until like they had crash landed already, and he was laughing. I was like, "Oh my god, I can't believe I just heard that."
Well, and then you can't help but picture Drax pooping.
Yeah.
No, I can help that. I can.
Oh yeah, I can't. I
I guess-
are they green?
Listen, can we rewind? We haven't even said, hey, listeners, this is an episode on Guardians of the Galaxy, Volume 2.
Volume 2, colon.
Taking a number two.
Better than what I was gonna say. All right.
If you haven't guessed from the turd talk, this is what
This is an
episode
MCU
Yeah.
Terry talk.
Yeah,
the MCU
phase
turd
3
talk.
of the MCU. We're still working our way through phase 3.
Movie 3 in phase 3.
This one came out in 2017.
Mm-hmm.
15th. This is the 15th film in the MCU.
Yes. And
Lucky
I've done a
one
lot of
time.
research. There's a lot of new characters introduced in this film, some of which are cameos, but are very important to the actual history of the comic version of Guardians of the Galaxy.
So a lot of people from the first one too that are back.
Yeah,
Written and directed by James Gunn, just like the first one. Is that right?
that is correct.
Guess who's back? Back
Although
again.
he might, did he write it with his brother?
I don't know, but I had from according to Wikipedia, it was written and directed by James Gunn with an
Yeah.
ensemble cast featuring Chris Pratt, Zoe Saldana, Dave Bautista, Vin Diesel, Bradley Cooper, Michael Rooker, Karen Gillian, Palm Clementif,
Palm
Vin
Clemente.
Diesel gets a top
Sylvester Stallone. Yeah,
mention.
I guess just because he's Baby Groot, right? And Kurt
Yeah, Vin
Russell.
Diesel.
I know it just seems odd to hear him in the like top line of the stars of
Right.
the movie.
Yeah.
Well, I guess because Groot's and they want to give Groot some billing. So like, okay,
Yeah.
Groot is voiced by Vin. Because you think about it, like
But is he
how
voiced
hard
by
is-
him in this film as Baby Groot? Did they
all of it.
auto tune his voice?
No, Vin Diesel recorded 8 million versions of I Am Groot, and
And so they
he specifically does it.
babyfied it.
Yeah, and they just auto tune his voice. And
wonder how much
if
he
you
gets
remember,
for this.
the Groot was kind of I mean, again, they were all kind of breakout characters from the first
True.
one, but Groot, like the way it ended, he was the big heroic sacrifice at the end. We are Groot.
have you guys all seen the Holiday episode?
Yes.
No,
All right.
I thought we were saving the
Well,
whole.
Okay,
Y'all,
well,
I
well,
have barely
is-
been alive.
this is not more of a holiday thing. This is just something that James Gunn mentioned the other day. Like you'll see it once you like. I can't call it a spoiler because if you seen the trailer, you saw Groot in it. So like Groot, once he sacrifices himself in the first one, like this baby Groot is basically Groot Jr. It's not the same Groot. Like this, just like so, like this.
Oh,
Groot
it's
we're
not the
getting-
same guy.
Not the same Groot. It's the same. It's the same. It's still Vin Diesel, but it's not the same Groot. That's why he does the whole his transition.
He doesn't have the memories of the old Groot.
Oh,
right,
that's
and then
the
like there's
question, yeah.
also like the one in the holiday special. He's supposed to be like sort of like Jock Groot or whatever, but he's
Yeah.
totally a different Groot than the one we see that sacrifices himself.
Yeah, this is like basically Groot's offspring,
Right.
but he serves
See,
the
I don't
same
think of
function.
it as an offspring. I think of it as I do
An
think of it as
extension.
different characters, but let's go into plant science. I think of it
Yeah.
as if you are potting plants and you cut a piece off of one plant and repot it, it grows into a whole.
Well,
different-
in the comics,
It's not the same plant with the
in
same
the
memories.
comics, they
no, but
have,
it's
like-
from. So I think about that as
Yeah.
he is a
It's got
tree,
different
like
memories.
he's
Yeah,
a
the roots
piece
of Groot.
of the old
his
tree.
death in the comics has been kind of based on it. Like it's a sprig. It regrows. He can regrow.
Yeah.
He can regenerate, kind of
Yeah.
thing. But like here, for some reason, and I don't. It could be the fact that he left and he's now part of. I'm doing air quotes. The DCU, where he kind of just like saying, like, you know what? This is not Groot from the first movie. This is a whole new Groot. Like once he sacrificed himself, there's always been a whole new Groot.
Well, now
Like,
that you
you
mentioned
I
that.
see that. I mean, if we go deep into the science of plants,
Mhm.
it would make sense that he wouldn't carry the memories because when you plant, my sister has a plant named Ursula. Shout out to Tempest. I can't keep a damn plant
Ursula.
alive, but she can keep a plant alive. And she had to, what do they call it when you take a section? It's not spawning.
Like
what do you call
pruning?
that?
Is the pruning like
No,
No, where
you
pruning's
take
when you
one
to make
clean
a
it
new one?
up.
okay?
Pruning's when you clean it up. What's the term when you take a piece of it to replant? I don't know damn planting term. Listeners, you tell
It's not
me.
regeneration. It's,
But I've always thought of
Regeneration
it
X.
without hearing the backstory. It's just a piece of the old plant anew
Mhm.
Mhm.
each time. It's a new growth. That's
So
how
I
I've
have a-
always imagined.
I have a James Gunn question that Art briefly mentioned something about him being part of the DCU now.
Yeah.
Is he still both? Is he still the Guardians of the Galaxy guy? or is
Supposedly,
he
Volume
clarified?
3 is his last. Is his last whatever with
The MCU.
Marvel.
I think
yeah.
he stepped over to DCU now, and he's
And
got
is it
Kevin
like a
Feige's
contract?
blessing.
So he signed like a contract that he.
He's
he-
like
He's like overseeing all.
yeah, he's
the,
like half a Feige over
So he's
there.
the Feige
Yeah.
of the DCU.
No, he's a
Yeah.
half a Feige over there. It's him and
Half a
another guy.
Feige.
But-
Yeah, it's him and
That's-
another guy.
But I mean, do you think he signed something that says he's not allowed to be part
Oh,
of
a
MCU because he's
non-compete.
in the
You're gonna always.
non-compete?
yeah.
I am almost sure if you're actively building, you're gonna have a non-compete. We have a non-compete in our contract, y'all.
Unless somebody
Um,
buys unless Warner Brothers gets bought by Disney, and then it won't matter.
yeah, we'll
That's-
see. They're
That's
doing
true.
a fire sale. They're just,
Everything must go.
Who is Warner Brothers is?
Yeah, they're like stripping things off of their, like they're destroying HBO Max and turning it into some
my
other kind of
gosh.
streamer. They're like
Yes.
they're just like canceling shows out of nowhere. They're tearing it stuff down.
Yeah.
They're removing stuff from streaming services so you can't see them, so they can write them off on their taxes. They're doing some weird.
It's weird because what they were choosing to put on HBO versus what they were choosing, like it was almost slightly gendered and very like it was odd choices. There was
Like,
a bit of
Everything remotely woke
yeah,
being pulled off.
Really?
yeah. It was a little
So
controversial.
was it like bought by some sort of crazy?
They brought in some new
Right-wing
guy to be an accountant or something because they were kind of in a mess, and then he's just tearing it all
But
down.
the way he's dividing it is not in a way that's healthy or really sustainable. It is making people question their sanity.
Oh.
Yeah, and then everyone's like, "What the hell? I'm trying to work on this project. This is."
Mhm.
I think there's lawsuits for breach of contract because now, like, stuff that people were getting royalties on is now just not being shown anywhere, and they just like it's a whole awful.
Yeah, it's a whole kerfuffle.
Yeah, for Warner Brothers right now, but they got James Gunn doing DC, so
Well,
And
speaking
he-
of James
yeah.
Gunn,
Yeah.
for this film, they said he chose to set the sequel, this number 2, shortly after the first film, to explore the characters' new roles as the Guardians, now that they've become the Guardians, and to
Mhm.
follow the storyline of Quill's father established throughout the previous film. Yeah, and so that's his father, played by Kurt Russell.
Kurt.
Do we like that choice?
I
Yeah.
don't think you can go wrong with
As
Kurt
Ego?
Russell in a movie. these days.
This is a sort of a combination of the comic version of Star-Lord's father, which is not Ego, and the different character in comics, which is Ego the Living Planet. So
So it's an amalgamation of a couple of different things.
yeah, Ego, the Living Planet, originally created in 1966 by Stan Lee and Jack Kirby. It first appeared in Thor number 132. This is right after, they invented Galactus and all this the space mythology and stuff. And so it was Jack Kirby going batshit with the cosmos, with because that's what he excelled at, thinking up crazy ass space shit. And a giant planet with a face. It wasn't just like a guy. It was a planet with a face on it. Ego the Living Planet. And he was just, that's what he was. But in comics, Star-Lord's father was just this dude named Jason from another planet, the planet Spartax, who first appeared. It's Star-Lord, Marvel preview number 1, I believe, or 11 in 1977 was the first appearance of Star-Lord, and he was way more like a traveling spaceman, explorer kind of guy, as opposed to mercenary Ravager type. So Jason of the planet Spartax, that's the origin of, he came to Earth, he crash landed on Earth briefly, and then had a fling and had a kid, went back off to the stars, and then he was like turned out he was a jerkwad evil emperor of Spartax that Star-Lord eventually had to go expose as a cheap murderer, then got him deposed from power. And then he became, since he didn't have any power anymore, he became Mr. Knife and started a space crime syndicate and something called the Slaughter Squad. I just read about.
Who doesn't need that?
Yeah, that was more in 2013 Brian Michael Bendis Guardians of the Galaxy, which that's a long story, but Brian Michael Bendis writing something is not generally something I want to read.
You don't like his Spider-Man runs?
His Ultimate
Or his
Spider-Man was
X-Men runs?
when he's doing his own thing and he doesn't have to worry about anything that went before ever. He's all right. I really liked his Ultimate Spider-Man, but when he takes over a book that I'm enjoying, I tend to stop enjoying it.
So he's your writer equivalent to
No,
your,
I knew that. I knew you were going to go Liefeld on that. I wouldn't say that. Liefeld.
so he's not Liefeld, but he's
There is nothing I have liked that Liefeld has done.
okay.
Bendis, I recognize what he does. I recognize his talents, and they're just not always for me.
Okay, it's just not your
Liefeld
taste. You
is-
don't hate him.
Yeah, Liefeld is trash, objectively.
Okay.
To steal a TBJ adjective. I feel like so many more people are using that now. It's all from TBJ.
Trash, it's a thing. I mean,
Yes, people say
people
Or
are trash.
garbage human.
Trash Panda.
it. Yes, that brings us back to the
Yes.
Guardians. So you mentioned at one point in that whole big, long, boring diatribe you just said, Andy, that
Oh, Joe.
I'm just kidding. That at the Ego at one point was a planet with a face, and I think that's they have an homage to it
Yeah,
towards the
he
end of this
basically.
film where they make his
yeah.
face look like Kurt Russell's, and it looks ridiculous. He looks like Globy from
As I was
TV's
watching this again, Joe, I
Yeah.
thought about you and the Joe verse.
Yeah.
Because in the Joe verse, Ego would be John Walker's son. I mean, no, John Walker
John
would be
Walker's
Ego's
father.
son. Yeah.
Right, yeah. And he's also isn't he Tango
No.
from Tango and Cash? Or is he Cash?
I think he's Cash.
Good cash.
Is he
He's
Cash?
Cash. Still
Stallone
on
is Tango.
Tango.
And he's also Snake Plissken from Escape from New York, and he's also the what is it? The computer who wore tennis shoes from the old Disney movies. There's really old Disney movies where they were just live action silly shit from the 70s.
Kurt Russell was in them.
Yeah,
I
there's
miss
a young
those
Kurt
times.
Russell.
Listen,
Well-
I'm gonna put that in my pocket for Kurt Russell trivia because that may come up one point. In my
I
life.
think that's the name of it. The computer who wore it was just a kid who was really smart. I think.
And isn't he Goldie Hawn's? Is he still Goldie Hawn's lover? Sexual
Partner,
think so.
partner. Yes, they're still very much partners.
Boingy
decades
banger,
later.
bangy boingers,
I don't know if
Boingy
that's
banger.
what they would define it as.
humpers,
I feel like at this age, you're probably more than humpers.
wiener crankers.
No, we're not going to use that term.
Okay,
They've been together, I want to say like 30 years.
it's a long time. They never got married, right? It's common law now. right?
Yeah. I mean, their kids,
Yeah.
like her kids call
Hudson,
him
Hudson. What's Marissa Hudson or
Kate.
Kate Hudson.
Mhm.
Marissa, I don't know why I call her.
And the son is, what's his name?
Wyatt
Oliver
Russell.
Hudson?
Oh,
No, Oliver is also Hudson. Wyatt Russell is his. She's more than two, but two.
And
that
he's
are
the one who
famous,
plays
two that
Captain
are
America, right?
actors. No, who? Oh, you
USA.
mean the jackass Captain America?
Yeah.
Yes. When you said Captain, I was like, no, that's
Yeah.
Chris.
The crappy new one. yeah.
That's Chris.
the one with the
You
punchable
mean-
face.
Yes, that one. That is what. That is.
Well,
the Kurt
he
Russell
plays
son.
U.S. agent.
U.S. agent. Yeah, you guys might not know this, but Guardians of the Galaxy #2 premiered in Tokyo on April 10th, 2017, before it was released in the United States. So,
Yeah, I
boom.
know nothing about Tokyo.
Shit tends to happen there.
It grossed more than $863 million worldwide, making it the eighth highest grossing film of 2017.
Also, side note, after doing a quick search, they got together in 1983. So next
Oh, they
year
did.
should be 40 years.
Oh my gosh. Now they're going to break up and start seeing other people.
At 40 years in, I think they're pretty solid.
They're pretty stuck together.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
Well,
40
Tony
years.
Collette just got separated from her husband after
Because he
20
was
years, so-
cheating. He was
Oh.
in these streets cheating. You want to talk about trash? They could have stayed together. if he
I
kept
didn't know
his
anything.
knees and
I just know I
lips
saw it.
held,
I was just watching Knives Out, and then I seen a
because he
I
was
think about
caught
it.
on the films with his lips on someone that was not his wife. Dummy.
Ew. Oh.
Is that like those Good Morning America actors that are or hosts that
They're
Their
banging each other.
anchors. Oh my
They-
God.
They got suspended for banging each other.
Because they were both married to other people. They were
Yeah.
both married to other people. And this is neither one of theirs first affair. And normally people don't get in their business, but it was making ABC look a little bad. So they've been replaced.
no
Also,
longer-
dummies, there are cameras everywhere. At this point, if you do not like the person you have married, you should probably divorce them.
Mhm.
Right.
You're going to end up giving them more money if you're caught on camera cheating. So that's dumb
Okay.
of you.
That's right.
So how about you just not? Also, if you are down with open relationship, date someone who's also down with open relationships, or marry someone who is
Yes.
down with open relationship. It is dumb of you to date a monogamous or marry a monogamous person if you can't remain monogamous. That's dumb. You're gonna end up in messiness.
Yep, like
Let's
Treat
stop.
said.
Wow.
If you're down with
Preach.
OPP,
I know. I'm
Yeah,
gonna
you
get
know
off
me.
my soapbox. Well, it's so weird because there's enough people, there's enough humans in this universe that you can
Man.
partner with someone who also would like to be non-monogamous. Like you can do that in 2022. You do not have to remain married if you and your partner are not on the same page.
and that's how
I hope you
TVJ
do.
explains it. I think
But
it's
it's
by
like-
Freeman.
There's too many cameras. I don't know if y'all are on the messy side of TikTok, but I am. And I'm like, man, y'all are dumb. To hear all these cheating stories, I'm like,
I'm not on that side of TikTok.
No,
All-
oh, I'm on
I see
messy
some
TikTok.
weird shit on TikTok, but it's nothing like
I
that.
don't even want to know what side of TikTok you're on.
don't.
I am on messy TikTok where it's like literal catching. Like people are catching their partners.
I barely understand TikTok.
Are you showing your age?
So like, do you think they're staging those videos just for?
No, some of them are like not staged. Some of them are not on purpose, like catching. Some of them are some of them have suspicions and go check it out, and some of them like
They were
I
just
came home early, or I looked at my your Ring camera and this same person keeps coming to my house at the same time every goddamn day, which is also dumb. You have a Ring camera, homie. Like,
Yeah.
I
Go to
did
the back door.
I did get caught up on TikTok with Couch Guy and Long Distance Girl. Did you see
oh
that one?
yeah,
I got really hooked on that. I kept asking my daughters, like, is this real? What do you think? Is Couch Guy have this other girl's phone? And it's this girl who's coming from a long distance. Like
Yeah.
she's going to see her boyfriend at college, and she goes to surprise him, and they see her open the door, and he's like sitting on a couch with 3 girls. And
well, he's like
one of them
hanging out with
looks-
his friends, which is not suspicious. Like,
Yeah.
you know, I have a kid in college. There are girls in his dorm room all the time. He is not seeing them, but it was the added weirdness was the way one of the girls reacted to, and the
Yeah.
way he just sat on the couch and didn't even get up to be like, "Oh, my girlfriend."
Yeah.
Like he it
like,
was.
It looked like someone was passing a phone.
Yeah,
to
it was
somebody else,
behind
and
the
there was
back.
some other-
But she
Yeah.
then went on TikTok like, "No, this is my boyfriend, and he's great. Everything's great, guys. You read into a few minutes." And listen, you can take things out of context for a few seconds.
Yeah, on
But-
TikTok. Yeah.
I would hope if I travel a long distance to see my partner, there is a sense of, "Oh my God, you're here."
And then what
and-
about the girl who's breaking up? This was my favorite TikTok that went viral. She's breaking up with her boyfriend, and she's like, "You manipulator! I hope you choke on concrete." And she's like screaming at her. Her friends are just laughing while she's screaming.
I've not seen that
All
one.
right, that's my favorite one. I can't stop watching that one. There's a million versions of that. Anyway, let's get back to Guardians of the
Sorry,
Galaxy.
back to Guardians of the Galaxy where TikTok does not exist, but probably should because there's some messy dynamics in this damn movie, which should be on messy TikTok.
Well, and
And,
everybody's excited because the third one's coming out in May, and the holiday special just came out, which was great, and I've seen that, and
And we'll
It-
talk about that after we finish this movie.
we will. And I rewatched before we watched this. I rewatched. So I watched this once, then I went and rewatched the first one, then I watched the holiday special, and then I just watched this one again. And I think the Guardians of the Galaxy are my favorite.
Yeah.
It's
they're a
so
lot of
weird
fun.
because it's not my favorite. They are, I mean, it's
I mean,
don't
I'm
know
their
why.
target audience. I think.
You probably are. Like when I turned
I
it
was
on to
heard.
watch it, I was watching with, well, you know, I have older humans and they were walking and they both stopped to take in what I was doing and stood there for a while. And I was like begrudgingly rewatching it. I was like, and it's not bad. It's done fine. It's,
Mhm.
but I am not, this woman is not, other than Baby Groot and Gamora.
Yeah.
And I think I said that movie one other than Gamora then and Baby Groot at the end. It's not my cup of tea.
Just a lot of
Yeah.
wiener and poop jokes. Which
I
is my
enjoy
But I'm
it a
not
lot.
opposed to that. I've literally watched the 40-year-old version probably 60 times. Like I've watched,
really.
I watched the hell out of that movie. I love Steve Carell. Like
That's
I
funny.
watched that movie so many times. It's unnatural. You would think that I
Kelly
was
Clarkson.
a frat boy, but I don't know, something about Guardians. Anyway, let's go back. Let's go.
Okay. Yeah. So the plot is let's see, I guess just starts off with the whole team fighting this big giant monster. And it's the little cute little opening sequence where Groot's turning on the music. Yeah, Aisha, the leader of the sovereign race, has hired them to protect valuable batteries from Obelisk, an interdimensional
Can we talk about
monster.
how weird that race is?
Those weird
The
golden
Sovereign?
people. Sovereign.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's interestingly, I didn't realize it, but those were made up for this movie. Those aren't even Marvel characters.
Oh, they're not.
Huh.
Yeah,
But
Interesting.
didn't they make? They're making Adam Warlock be a
yeah,
one of these
but
guys, right?
that's the Sovereign were not who made Adam Warlock in the comics.
Oh.
It's this weird group of researchers called the Enclave who are trying to create the pinnacle of human evolution. So that's kind of what they're going for here.
Kind of the same.
It's the same concept, but wasn't these guys, it wasn't these weird gold people.
Wow. Okay. So I totally assumed this was just something from comics.
Nope.
And Drax is not wearing an arrow rig, which is like the little magic backpack thing, due to his nipples being
Gotta
sensitive.
can't stand that
Sensitive
nipple
nipple.
chafing.
The thing with the Anulax batteries, Harbulary batteries.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then he insists later. That's why this is my wheelhouse, I guess. It's so the level of silly that they can get away with in these is a lot of fun.
I didn't even
And
say anything close to that.
yeah,
And then he's correcting him later. They're Harbulary batteries. Now. No, they're not. They're Radulax batteries.
and it's so dumb, but it's great. And like I'm really into the Guardians of the Galaxy movie just because I was a big fan of the comics that they're based on. And one of the things I'm excited about is Volume 3. They're actually going to start wearing the uniforms that they had in those comics that I was a fan of before this movie even came out, or before
they're not
before
they
the
haven't
MCU
been
even
wearing-
came out.
They haven't been wearing them. Up until-
Rocket, in like Endgame, Avengers Endgame, Rocket's wearing his version of this uniform,
Oh, okay.
which was odd. I thought, oh, that's a nice nod to the things, but I didn't realize Guardians 3 they're going all in on the uniforms, and that's just a nice little nerd touch for me that I very much enjoy.
Yeah, and I did download the first Guardians of the Galaxy, I think, comic. I haven't read it yet. I started reading.
Oh, well,
it, but
it depends on. There's the first Guardians of the Galaxy was none of these characters except Yondu, and not in this form. If you're talking about the original Guardians of the Galaxy from 1969,
no, I don't think that's what I did.
that's I think Arnold Drake and Gene Colan created these Guardians of the Galaxy. It's like in the 30th century, but some of those characters are in this movie. Like Yondu was originally just sort of a Native American stereotype from another planet, though. He was a blue guy. He wasn't Kree, but he had the big fin, and he used a bow and arrow. And
But of course, we had the stereotype in 1960 something.
yeah, it's 1969, so you'll have that. And then a couple of the dudes that show up at the end with Stallone's crew are in this too, and they're nods to the actual original Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah, and that really made me feel like there's gonna be a show or a movie with those guys in it. Like it really felt like
It should be like they might, this might be the end of the trilogy of this version of the Guardians of the Galaxy, and then Stallone will have a team of the original guys, maybe Stallone and Ving Rhames and Michael Rosenbaum.
Well, Ving Rhames,
Oh, that'll be interesting.
Is that character Charlie, whatever?
Charlie 27,
Yeah.
who is a weirdly shaped soldier from Jupiter. Like
Okay, so
he's
you
compressed
really
and
know these
weird.
guys.
Well, I haven't read a lot. I did a lot of research before this, and I
Yeah.
remember doing the research on this for the last film.
I was
But,
looking these up too today. I was like Googling just because I was like, who's that guy with the the ice face guy?
Yeah, that's
He's gotta be a guy.
Martinex.
And
That's-
that's what I found. He's got a name, and he's an actual guy from other comics.
And there's a couple other ones in that group. Like there's that little robot mask voiced by Miley Cyrus, who is like, I missed you guys so much.
That's Miley Cyrus.
Is that really Miley Cyrus?
That's Miley Cyrus. That's
Man, I had
Mainframe.
no idea.
And in comics, all Mainframe is like the 30th century version of the Vision, who has become the chief operating system of the entire Earth.
Really?
Nah.
So I don't know what he's doing in there. And then there's that big red dragon dude who is actually from 1991, a guy named Krugar, who it was actually a freaking sorcerer supreme from that
Mm.
alternate future.
Yeah, most of these are from. You see these in the post-credit scene towards the end after the funeral,
Yeah.
type of thing. So we'll kind of get to that, but we kind of jumped ahead. But that I was just excited about the Ravagers. Like I love the Ravagers now. The whole Ravager code. Now they came back at the end and make it. I don't know. I just found myself like, God, I love this movie. I want to keep watching it. Part of it is I just figured out how to get. I moved a speaker that I have to my sound bar that my father-in-law gave me last year to create kind of a surround sound in my
Ah.
living room. And so I was like, why? It's a remote speaker. Why do I have it sitting right next to the sound bar? Oh, I'm not a dumbass. So I moved it across the room. Now it's behind. And then it's like, oh my God, it's like, I'm like in a
You're
movie.
living in luxury there, Joe.
And then I
with
also
your
realized I didn't
surround
have it
sound.
turned up all the way. I didn't have the subwoofer turned up. So I turned it up all the way. My house is like shaking with explosions now. And all the neighbors are upset. My kids
I'm
are
sure your wife loves it.
trying to
so much.
sleep and they're all mad at me. But I love Guardians of the Galaxy. So
It doesn't matter what they think. Guardians. or
space
nothing.
movies with blow up stuff. Yeah. So anyway, Aisha is the leader of the sovereign race that Andy said isn't from the comics. And
Yeah.
she's having them protect these batteries. The big giant monsters named Obelisk. And he's interdimensional. He's shooting a rainbow barf. in exchange for Gamora's estranged sister Nebula, who was caught attempting to steal the batteries. This whole big scene is so funny. Just opening scene is just what a great way to kick it off with the music, and then Baby Groot being the focus, and everybody just keeps like falling and almost hitting him or like interacting with him. Like, Groot, get out of the way. Hi. He's waving at her and she's like, hi, whatever. It's just like the way they're all interacting is just like they each have their little moment with Groot, and we're seeing what they're doing, and then they're battling together, and then just the whole thing with Drax going inside to destroy it from the inside. Like, that doesn't make any sense. I know, I tried to tell him that. And then the sword thing. I thought you were swords and I'm guns.
Yeah.
It's just what a great way to start it. And
I think it's a good way to lay the foundation for teamwork from jump.
Yeah.
Like a good reminder. Hey, remember, this is a team. Ooh, blesses. A good reminder to the audience to jump straight into teamwork.
Yeah, they did really work well together when she decided that, he's got a cut on his neck, blah, 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 and give him to go up, and then she slices him and he falls out and he starts laughing about it. And he says, I single-handedly did it, and Groot throws the thing at his head. And then when they're thanking them, they're exchanging Nebula, Rocket has a little funny bit calling them douchebags. And winking wrong. Yeah, like, did I wink with the wrong?
Yeah.
Again.
That's the kind of the tone James Gunn is pretty good at. It's just the real goof, just making it
really good sense of humor,
fun without making it without making it too stupid.
I mean, there are moments that are
that's right on that line.
There's some moments.
It's not so obnoxious that you're just like, ugh.
Yeah.
Which is,
Well, I would be afraid of a Guardians of the Galaxy without James Gunn. I'd be worried it's not going to have the same.
I mean, he did set a good tone, and so if you're going to try to stick in that tone, you could. But I like the Guardians 3 trailer makes it look like they're really going to go. All right, we had a lot of fun. This one's going to hurt you right in the gut.
Guardians 3 is it. That's it.
There won't be any more.
It's for James Gunn's, but they might do some kind of offshoot or like
you never know what ends up later. You don't know their plans until they announce them.
Nobody knows what the future holds.
It's now an intellectual property with some name recognition. So something.
I think they'll show up. I don't think they'll be in the movie. Like the Guardians of the Galaxy will probably show up in Avengers 5 or some shit.
There'll be one where that's called the New Guardians or something like that.
Yeah,
and it'll be a different team with like maybe Groot still on it, or
Groot never goes away.
Yeah, Groot is eternal.
I
just like the KLF.
I just love they have Rocket call them douchebags, like just like douchebags. Calling people douchebags is in a Marvel movie. It's just like that. It just always keeps like. As soon as I forget that it's this, I'm taken away by explosions and action in a Marvel movie, and then something like the turds and the douchebags comes back, and it's like, oh my god, this is funny.
Yeah.
But then we see Rocket steals the batteries as they're walking out, and only Drax seems to know, and he laughs about it.
Mostly Rocket is being a huge dick, and he's leaning into being a huge dick because he's Yondu
leaning hardcore.
As we find out later, it's part of that rough exterior of defense mechanism. Keep everybody away. Just be an asshole to everybody.
It's like, which is great. What other movie is going to give a talking raccoon a character arc like that? That's not a Pixar movie.
Yeah,
sure. Pixar would do it right.
That's true.
And I feel like the animation and the CGI, whatever, is great. Like he looks
100%.
Crazy. He looks so real the way he moves and everything. Then we get Drax telling Quill to stop going after Gamora. She doesn't dance. You're a dancer, she's not a dancer, and then it tells the story of his wife, who everybody thought was dead because she wouldn't dance.
And engorged his nether regions.
Yeah, it's gross. I don't know about your nether region. Gamora won't give Nebula the Yarrow root because it's not ripe yet, and that's an ongoing theme throughout the movie. It's this not ripe yarrow root. How funny is that? Like,
It's just yeah, it's like just a level. Here's a through line. We're gonna make a joke about this. We're
Yeah.
gonna bring that joke back,
as soon as she takes a bite of it,
but
oh,
we're
it's
gonna
not ripe.
barely call any attention to it, and
Yeah.
then this is the
No,
payoff.
we're just gonna have it there. We're gonna
Yeah.
let you pull it out.
Yeah, and then she finally gets it, and everyone was right, and she learns a lesson.
I love the first time she won't give it to her because it's not ripe yet, and I hate you.
Yeah,
Sister is a true definition of sister.
that's right.
Not
So-
my sister, but others.
Not your sister. Yeah, most sisters.
Most.
And because Rocket stole the batteries, the Sovereign attacks the Guardian ship with a fleet of drones that come flying in. And they're trying to get away. So they go to Bearheart, which is one jump away, but the access point is 47 clicks away.
Did you remember that as an interesting point?
I wrote it down. So what's the hell's a click and what the hell's an access point? And why can't we just use hyperspace like Star
Clicks are
Wars?
probably the click of the tick click of the clock, or however.
Clicks, isn't that a military term?
Yeah,
It's
probably.
an actual measurement. I don't know the exact measurement, but it's an actual measurement.
How long is a click?
Make sure
1
you spell it right.
kilometer.
Yeah.
What-
Oh, that
What
makes
the hell
sense.
is an access point?
Well, that's how you get to one planet to another. Think,
That's
Well,
how
yeah,
you get to a
do-
jump point.
Those little like
yeah.
honeycomb.
It's like you got to
Charlotte
fly to a
Hornet.
place in order to teleport to
Yeah.
another place.
You
Are
can't
you
just
familiar?
teleport from anywhere. You have to be at a certain
like a
point.
wormhole type of thing.
Joe, are you familiar with
Or-
the game Star Reporter? You
Yeah.
know how you have to go to an airport in order to fly to a different location on the board?
That's also in the world.
Yeah, that's that good.
Well, it's the same thing in space. You got to get to
Yeah.
one place to get to the next place.
Yeah, you can't get an airplane from your house. You have to get it from the airport.
Well,
Unless
she had to
you're
go to a
rich.
quantum asteroid field first.
Yeah,
That felt kind of like Star Wars, like
Yeah. I'm sure that was an homage to that.
an homage.
Not flying into that asteroid field.
And so this is where I was going to ask Andy: are the Sovereign in the comics
Mm.
and Adam Warlock thing, which you already answered? So we find out in the post-credit scene that they're making Adam Warlock. Where you assume Adam Warlock, right?
I think I'll call him Adam. Yeah, and
I
we
read that
see him a
somewhere.
bit in the Guardians trailer, the Guardians 3 trailer. You get a shot of him. So, and Adam Warlock was in the run of Guardians of the Galaxy that inspired these movies.
So he's a well-known comic book character. Like
Oh yeah, like
villain type of thing?
he was very involved in like the Infinity Gauntlet. He was usually has something to do with Thanos. Like he was like an enemy of Thanos, and like they would.
And what's his power? He's like just a
He's
god type of thing.
kind of yeah. It's kind of nebulous, but he's supposed to be, he was like the keeper of Infinity Stones. He's supposed to be the pinnacle of evolution of the humanoid potential.
Oh,
Except-
like Art Star.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
basically.
On my phone, I got a big ego sometimes.
He's got
On my-
Sometimes I just
on my phone.
say
I can,
sometimes.
I have like a little widget, right? And this widget, you know what it says? I am inevitable. Like it's literally like my motivation. Like I look at my phone and it always says that.
There you go.
I'm not surprised by anything you just said.
The-
Like I envision if we were to do like MTV Here's My Cribs, we'd walk into Art Star's crib and it's big portraits of himself.
I'm not.
And then
And see, that's-
sayings
and that's the-
all
I'm
over
not-
the room
that's the weird
about
thing.
how
I'm not-
badass he is.
I'm not that person. I'm not that person. My
I
thing
don't
is
know.
like I feel like I exude greatness, right? So for me, it's not. all
And that
about,
would be
like,
one of the posters on your wall.
It's
I exude greatness.
It's not about me having to like be one of those people who has like
Mm.
pictures on top of pictures on top of pictures on top of pictures of themselves. Because I'm like, I'm fucking me.
See,
Well, and Andy's place has big pictures of tasteful Art Star nudes all over.
no,
the
that's
place.
your place.
Oh yeah, that's my place.
That's your place.
That was good
that's
picture.
that's the back of your glasses. You just put
Yeah.
them on.
Yeah, well,
That's
they're
your
tasteful.
place.
They're tasteful nudes.
But
Tasteful.
Adam Warlock's thing is that he's supposed to be, the pinnacle of evolution or whatever, but he also has this thing called cosmic awareness, where he's plugged into the cosmos and he understands everything. But he also has like an evil alter ego named the Magus or the Magus or Magus. Not sure how to pronounce that. but like his face turns purple and he's like an evil version of himself. So,
How do you spell
no,
it? Is it
Magus.
Magus? Yeah, I don't know. Either.
Yeah, go figure.
I don't know why I would. Okay, so
My
that
guess.
what were you gonna say, Art? Oh, Magus.
I was just saying my guess.
Magus.
Oh my
Magus.
gosh. Oh my gosh.
Talking about Magus.
Magus. We're about
He
to
and Magus are real Death 3. All right, sorry.
we're about to the part where Rocket and Quill get into the pissing match about piloting
Mhm.
through the asteroid field, and Rocket warns Quill, put a turd in his sleeping bag and it'll be Drax's. And I said, this is why the movie is for me. This whole I have famously huge turds.
Turds and penis humor.
Yeah. That's
And
my
penis questions.
I mean, yeah. We've covered that already.
yeah, we did. And then a mysterious figure comes and destroys all the drones, and the Guardians crash land on a nearby planet. And by the way, Gamora is a badass holding on to Drax when he's
Always has
falling
been.
out the oh, he's still out there. What the hell? And he's about to be gone. She grabs the metal thing holding him, his whole body, and then she holds on to the crashing spaceship and single-handedly just holds all of it together with her badassness. And that's awesome.
She's a queen.
That's right.
She's really just tough. And then the Trash Panda bit. They get a
Which,
little bit argument.
You know, you can go, the Trash Panda was kind of a meme. Star-Lord wouldn't know it because he left in the 80s, but you know.
Well, there's a
that's-
minor league baseball team called the Trash Pandas.
Yep.
I'm sure there wasn't in 1985
I don't know how long they've been
or
around.
1987 or whenever the hell Star-Lord was abducted.
I mean, people have been trash pandas for a while, so the title might have been around for a while.
I still feel like I've never heard the term until I saw it in a meme. So
So you think the meme invented it?
yeah,
Rocket
I
City
don't
Trash
know.
because there was like it was the picture of all the animals with silly names for them. Like the bear was the Danger Floof, the raccoon Trash Panda, blah blah blah. It was a bunch of silly. It was funny, but I feel like Star-Lord wouldn't know that. But that's only something a dumb killjoy nerd would say. So we can go on from that.
So
That's why you call yourself out.
Yeah.
So you don't think the Rocket
I'm
City
sometimes
Trash
aware
Panda-
of when I'm overly nitpicking. What?
You don't think the Rocket City Trash Pandas existed in the 80s?
I don't know. I'm looking it up, and they say that the term trash panda is what's been used to describe raccoons for a while. We've taken it and turned it into, low class girlies is what it started out like. I'm a trash panda, and that became a thing. But
Well, they went. Yeah, they came out around the same time
2020.
as
yeah,
as the
but apparently
movie
we've been
came
calling
out-
raccoons trash panda. I mean, they are.
like they actually changed their
For a while.
name to the Rocket City Trash Pandas after they relocated from they was the mobile Bay Bears.
I'm
yeah,
so
they
glad they
become a-
went trash pandas.
They didn't come in Rocket City Trash until 2020. They're a minor league team for the Angels.
Yeah, but this has been out on the lands of Urban Dictionary since 2015. So it's around.
I'm
Which is
seeing
a far bit later than 1987.
Redditor Carl Polygon.
but that's a pop
made the
term of
comment
it, not the,
2014.
yeah.
So some guy on Reddit.
Yep.
apparently first said in
I don't
2014.
believe
Anyway.
when people say I made a term. That's like Bill Gates internet. Like, did you make the thing, or you just remember you being the first one in your friend group to make the thing?
Well, I just love that he's like, okay, you're a trash panda. Is that better? Drax
like,
like,
yeah.
I
Way
have no
worse.
idea.
Way worse.
Way worse. Way worse. That's
Like the way he said it, it was very douchebaggery, like, right?
Yeah.
Like it's
Yeah.
way worse.
I also feel like Rocket would know that it has the word trash in it, so it has to be worse. But
Well, I just
Yeah.
love that Drax has no idea. I never met
Yeah. Max
and
rarely has a clue.
then we find out that
About a
Quill-
lot of things.
the guy was Quill's father, Ego, and then we cut to Contraxia, a planet that apparently has a bunch of strip clubs, and everybody's tasting the snow, and Howard the Duck's there, just scum and villainy. And then Judge Dredd tells Yondu that he's exiled.
And Joe Verse, he's just Judge Dredd. He
Judge-
shows up.
I guess I could have picked. I almost picked Rocky and then Rambo, but he tells him he's exiled because of child trafficking. And in a
This is yeah.
foreshadowing statement, he tells him he'll never have the colors of Ogord and will never flash, or he'll never have the colors of Ogord flashing over his grave, and he'll never hear the horns of freedom at his funeral.
This is a Stakar in the comics. His name is Stakar Ogord, also known as Starhawk. This is pretty much nothing like the comic character. Stakar Ogord is Starhawk in the comics is from the future, some weird he's a child of the space superhero Quasar and Kismet, who is basically a female version of Adam Warlock. And he started researching this hawk god and kind of became its avatar thing. He's like a weird future Hawkman kind of guy.
So nothing at all like this.
No, he's not just some
Just
fucking
Sylvester
dude
Stallone
rabbit.
in a suit. Yeah.
However, Stallone's little shoulder things, his little gold shoulder things on his thing, are kind of like a nod to Starhawk's weird ass cape-ish sort of thing in the comics. And the weird thing with Starhawk is that he was married. He got married and had kids with his adoptive sister, Alita, who is played by Michelle Yeoh at the end of this. I'm pretty sure they're not going to be adopted siblings, and I don't even know if they grew up together or not. I don't know a lot
Doesn't
about
matter. Once your mom marries my dad, homie, we can't talk.
that.
Or bang.
But there was a weird bit where somehow they got physically merged, and only one of them could exist in reality at any given time, and the other one was just suspended in limbo, some kind of consciousness. So a lot of times Starhawk was running around doing Starhawk stuff. He was eventually joined the original Guardians of the Galaxy, like the Charlie 27 guys. He was on that team.
Ving Rhames.
And Alita was kind of most of the time off in limbo. And then they eventually, fell for each other and whatever.
The whole thing is, if you're going to have Sylvester Stallone and Ving Rhames in the movie, in the MCU as these guys, like, it can't just be this, right? They got to be doing something.
You never, like Andy said, you never know. I mean, it could be like a Michelle Pfeiffer type thing, right? She was here, and then all of a sudden now she's like boom, so you never know.
She's what?
Yeah, I have a feeling these guys are going to show up again in part 3, even if it's just cameo roles. But
I want it to be a new MCU show on Disney Plus, The Ravagers.
You should pitch it to Kevin. Call him up.
I'm sure somebody already has.
Call up Cheeto. Tell him like
I'm about to say, call your close personal friend, Don Cheeto.
Yo, Don Cheeks.
Don
I'm
Cheeto.
sure he can get this done for you. Are you now calling him Cheeks?
The Cheeds. The Cheatinator.
That worries me just a little bit.
am I not cheatily enough for your Cheetle Club?
Cheedly. Cheedly. Cheedly.
Cheeto.
You guys are a little cuckoo.
Don Cheadle.
Oh, he Cheetos it. Oh,
No.
Cheetle it up on the Cheetle Talk.
Why did you join in, Andy? Why?
Because, like I said, this is my kind of silly. Is this movie?
You're encouraging these two nut jobs to
Yeah.
keep going.
whoa.
Anyway, Starhawk or Stakar basically tells Yondu off, and Yondu's pissed about it, but he's secretly a little guilty about it.
But he could have explained, hey, I only took him because so and so was gonna kill him and all that, but he never did.
He didn't know, and Stallone was like, "You didn't know because you didn't want to know because it made you rich."
Adrian.
He tried to say he didn't know, and Stallone and Stakar was like, "No, fuck you, you knew. You looked the other way." So it's not until Yondu grows up at the end of the movie that finally gets it.
He realizes he kept him because he didn't want him to get killed. Because he says that
Yeah.
I didn't want you to get killed like those other people. He could have just said that to
Yeah.
Sylvester Stallone.
Yeah, but our dudes
The
who
whole
are
point was-
normally
yeah.
Ravage is known to be great emotional communicators.
Yeah,
No.
that's true.
And he said, Stallone does a pretty good job, but he was also like,
But-
there were all
but-
the other kids that did die.
That's true.
That was your fault.
Yando did that
Yeah.
too. Yeah, Yando was trafficking all of them, so it wasn't just Peter. It was just that's true.
Right.
All right. Well, and then we see Taserface starting to plant the seeds of mutiny because he's like,
Taserface, created in,
weak.
in 1990 in Guardians of the Galaxy #1
really?
by Jim Valentino, who created a lot of these Guardians characters, or really or relaunched them all in 1990 because they hadn't been anywhere for a decade, and then Jim Valentino relaunched them. And apparently, the story is that his 5-year-old son Aaron came up with the name Taserface, and he thought it was there. It's pretty lame, but it's also not any more lame than Clayface or Two-Face or some of the other comic book character names. So he put in Taserface, and he had a little story and wound up getting beat by Wonder Man. Although Wonder Man was actually a Guardian of the Galaxy at some point on this original team.
Wonder Man. Well, that's hilarious. That the kid, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah, that's great. Taserface, and they make fun of it throughout the movie.
Yeah,
and he even gets like they even laugh at him right before he dies. They're laughing at him and tell him Taserface. Told you. What?
Taserface. It's metaphorical, you see.
And then here on Contraxia, Aisha appears with as her servants are rolling out the blue carpet that gets kind of stuck. And I just love throughout this movie, the way they use music is so cool. But like just even this, that the regal music, and then the carpet gets stuck and the music stops. Yeah. And they finally fix it and the music comes back on. Like, I don't know, the wham bam thank you man when the gold people show up, the sovereigns show up, like, and they're thinking of you when they do come back again, it's that music starts up again. It's just really well done. The whole soundtrack and the way they use the cool music is just really cool.
The soundtrack is really strong and really helped the first one land, and having a great Earth soundtrack is great for making this weird space shit more relatable, I guess.
Yeah, just like cool 70s stuff. It's awesome. Yeah. And then Aisha hires Yondu and his crew to recapture the Guardians. And then we see Ego explains to Yondu or explains to Quill that Yondu is supposed to deliver Quill, and I'll tell you more about this on my home planet. Come back to mine and I'll explain your heritage or whatever. And then they decide they're going to go with them. And then Mantis and Drax begin interacting with the pet the puppy. Can I pet your puppy? That's a practical joke. He almost bites him.
Yeah, Mantis is an odd character. Yeah. She's got a weird, messed up history.
Odd is an understatement, though.
Yeah, I mean, not even in the movie. Like in comics, her history is busted. Like she first showed up in like 1973 in Avengers. She was an Avenger, number 112. Steve Englehart and Don Heck created her, and like her whole thing. And I'm wondering if they'll tap into any of this for Guardians 3 or hint at something. She was like the daughter of Libra, who is like this. There's a anti-shield group called the Zodiac. They're all based on zodiac signs and shit. But she was suspected to be the celestial Madonna. And what that means, she was destined to mate with the eldest Kotati, who is this race of telepathic plants who are not Groots. They're different plant people. And
plant people.
Yeah, and there was this Avenger that she was in love with called the Swordsman, who died, and this Kotati plant thing sort of possessed the corpse of the Swordsman in order to mate with Mantis and create and give birth to this person named Sequoia, who was supposed to be the celestial messiah, I guess, and bring peace to the galaxy or whatever. But it turned out they followed up on that in 2020 with a story called Empire, where Sequoia decides he needs to eliminate all animal life, which includes, humanoid humanity people. And she wasn't a Guardian of the Galaxy until like 2007's Annihilation Conquest storyline, where they all fought an evil space Ultron. But Mantis's whole, like, there's a backstory of she's half Vietnamese and half German, and like she reached adulthood and then had her memory wiped and wound up as a sex worker and then had to sort of remember things. There's some messed up shit with Mantis. So this is probably the nicer version of a messed up childhood.
Yeah. Oh, and that's the social interactions, her learning how to socially interact from Drax. It's
Yeah.
kind of a funny little
Bad
thing.
news.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the worst person to do that.
And they have funny bits throughout the thing, and it's kind of funny seeing their friendship kind of form where he's like, "You're ugly." Oh, I'm ugly? Oh, but that's good, and all that stuff. And the little joke about petting your puppy. He's so cute. I want to die. He's so cute. And he's a little puppy. Everybody calls him. They call him a fox. They call
A
him
little crabby puppy.
a crabby puppy. Yeah, it's just kind of funny. And then Gamora, Quill's not sure he wants to go with Ego or that he trusts him, and she reassures him with the story of Zardu Hasselfrau, who owned the magic boat. I mean, David Hasselhoff. It's like, this man is your Hasselhoff. And so they decide that Quill, Gamora, and Drax are going to go to his home planet, and Drax has to take all of his luggage because he doesn't want Groot playing in his luggage. So he takes it with him. And then
Like, why does he even have luggage? He's shirtless all the time. He just has pants.
Yeah,
Pants and knives. What's his luggage?
Well,
That's the point. He doesn't want you to know. Therefore, he must take it. You just don't know.
And then Rocket and Groot are going to stay back and repair the ship and guard Nebula. And she says before he leaves, go ahead and kill her if she's makes a false move, or if you just want to. Okay. Yeah. I'm thinking this might be a good place to stop, and then we'll pick it up when we're all not as tired on the next episode.
All right.
Oh, nerds!
Sounds good to me. Sounds like a natural stop.
Yeah, and then we'll get to Ego's planet, and we'll get to
All the things that ensue.
fighting battles and things like that. Yep.
Family drama.
Absolutely. And and making some messed up shit.
Yeah,
Like-
some fun,
like-
cool shenanigans.
Nerd
Yeah.
turds.
Did you just say nerd turds?
Nerd turds.
Nerd
Let's
turd.
not.
No, all right. I'm gonna be on TBJ's side with this one. We cannot have nerd turds be our sign off.
I will not.
I mean, I'm on board with having TBJ say Excelsior at some point, but
She's still not saying it, but
I feel
cool.
like we come up with enough crazy stuff at some point. She will just be like, Excelsior, guys.
all right, here's what you do.
Here's the thing, lovely people. I am a Taurus. I want you to look up how often Tauruses change their minds or bend willingly. Just Google that real quick, and you'll know the answer is never. All right,
Oh,
it's
it'll
literally
happen.
never.
It'll happen.
I do have an idea for that though, Art. You can come up like we could have some regular bits on the Nerd School periodically. Like I got my dumb nerd history shit, but you could have Art's nerd turds and then come up with the worst take on anything you could, or perhaps the dumbest observation that you can possibly think of, and say, this has been another Art Star nerd turd.
That's probably the only way I would allow it to
Or
exist.
maybe that's the new name of the Easter chicken.
The nerd turd.
Is the nerd
Yeah,
turd.
yeah.
You can have it both. You can
I
have
found a
both.
little
You can point
nugget
out
of a nerd
turd.
turd here.
Yeah, this is I wouldn't compare nerd turd to an Easter chicken.
Yeah, I think nerd turd has to be its own thing because it rhymes. So that's when you
Figure
come
out a
out
way
and
to-
say, all right, here's the thing. I think Liv Tyler is horrible, and that's your Art
That's a
Star nerd
nerd
turd
turd.
because
Or what if
Yeah.
it's a little homage, like little homages we find?
To be fair,
Fair.
Oh,
I don't
gosh.
think Liv Tyler is terrible. Her voice
Because
just
she
bothers-
isn't terrible. Newsflash.
No. But that's why it's an Art Star nerd turd. It's because it's his opinion that is almost objectively
True.
wrong.
Okay.
But
I'm gonna drop a big old art star nerd turd right here.
yeah,
Oh, God.
that's the when you're about to stir the pot. You have to drop a turd in it and then
Drop a
stir the
turd
pot
turd.
so it's mixed up.
To get the
We're
nerds all
never
angry.
getting rid of this term.
Well, it rhymes. It's too catchy. We can't just throw out intellectual property like that. We got to
But here's the
trademark that
thing:
shit.
we could, we can make great choices, or we can keep going.
Does anyone have a copyright on nerd turd?
Get your lawyers
Right.
on it ASAP.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
can sell T-shirts. Art stars nerd turds.
I will not stand behind said
Nerd
t-shirts.
turd.
There is a company that sells dog poop scoopers called Turd Nerds.
See, they probably sue us because it's too close of a name.
That could be.
Well, thanks for listening, nerd turds.
No,
How about this? Nerd turds are our listeners who refuse to rate, review, and subscribe.
No, because
no, if they're still listening, we cannot call them
Yeah.
turds.
we don't want to alienate them because they're like, oh, so I'm a nerd turd.
Well, they
so I
might
won't
embrace.
subscribe.
They might embrace the term.
I won't
I
give
don't
you
know if
5
they'd
stars,
willingly
so I'm a
embrace
nerd
that.
turd.
You can say they're on their way to being nerd turds if they don't like and subscribe.
I just thought of this thing. All right. Well, thanks for listening, everybody. I'll
So
talk
you
about
got
See you
to.
next
I'll tell you
time.
guys. I thought of TBJ because I'm rewatching Community because there's going to make a movie, and in season 1, I don't know if you guys remember the Halloween episode, but Shirley is dressed as Harry Potter. Everybody keeps just calling her Urkel. Okay, Urkel.
Oh,
Like, I'm Harry Potter. Like, yeah, whatever, Urkel. And they just walk somebody else. Like, oh, hey, hold my drink, Urkel. And I just thought like how mad TBJ would be because she loves Harry Potter also and would have like the robe or whatever. And
Yeah.
yeah.
I wouldn't have known who Harry Potter was if it wasn't for TBJ being so into it. And I would have probably assumed it's Urkel too.
So you've not started reading Harry Potter yet?
And I would have thrown hands at a party if people kept calling me Urkel.
Oh, wouldn't you be so pissed? You'd be so pissed.
I would be.
But she doesn't have
think-
TBJ's personality, so she just goes, "Ooh," you know. If it was TBJ,
Goodbye.
I was like, and I was picturing, I was like, if that was TBJ, that person's face would be on the ground.
Shirley has TBJ's parts of TBJ's personality, but it's
She
buried
does.
under layers.
It just
Yes.
comes out every once in a while. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, she does. Well, I think it's so funny because one of my new, to listeners who start a new job, and one of my coworkers was like, "Oh my God, I saw a shirt the other day, and it's very much you, and it's like the National Society of Sarcasm." Which is valid.
Yeah.
But I also find it humorous because there's a misconception that people think I'm like sugary sweet, and it's my dress style because I wear a lot of dresses
That's the way you
with
dress.
fun
yeah.
yeah. I wear a lot of dresses with fun patterns, and it's pretty quirky, and people think that equates like sweet, and I'm not.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I've never claimed, but I've never claimed to be. And so sometimes when people are around me, like what I went on a cruise with my sister and her friends for her birthday, and I made one of her friends really mad. And all I was doing was just sarcasm. I wasn't being pointedly mean, but she was not used to me as a human.
Yeah.
She just had a lot of assumptions about who I was.
It's the way
I
you
am
dress,
a
yeah.
kind, no, I'm a kind human, but I'm not nice per se. Um,
When I say that, it's a problem.
No, because you're flat out evil. I'm kind. I
And
want
see,
the world
and
to be
that's
a
why-
better place.
That's why
I
I'm
believe
making
in the
you my
light.
apprentice.
No, I believe in the light of the world. I will not choose evil, but I will not fake a niceness that doesn't exist within my soul, which makes me the most real because I stand in the light with honest intentions.
Boom. I like
So
that.
never on the dark side, but I do have a mouth, and it is it's unfortunate. Or is it?
So you're like Stratos and He-Man. No, I'm just, I don't know. He's gonna,
No, I can be what people may term sassy.
sassy.
Sassy
I wouldn't
pants.
term it sassy. I just think it's interesting
Yeah.
that people have a misconception. And there are other things that people have said to me. It's like the glasses and the quirky dresses. And someone said to me, I have tattoos, and one of them
Tattoos.
is in an interesting location. And someone saw it and said, "Oh my God, to me, I thought you were really conservative." And I was like, "Wow, who told you that? Like, where in this world would you have gathered pieces of Tiffany and thought, I bet you, Tiffany. Listen, I do
Yeah.
love Jesus. He is my homie. But if you've met me before, there's no holier than thou ness.
And that's where Shirley differs.
Yeah.
Shirley Bennett. And one of my favorite Shirley lines, you just mentioned the word, like there's someone trying to describe her, and then she sort of turns the camera for some reason and says, the word he's looking for is sassy, and he better not find it.
Exactly. Yeah, I can call myself sassy. You don't.
Yeah.
You do not.
Yeah.
If you want to,
Yes. That is 100% it. It is a lot of sass. It's a lot. I try and stay silent, but then people are like, "Oh my God, why are you so quiet?" Because
I fucking hate that.
it's safer.
Yeah.
I fucking hate
Oh, or
that.
everyone thinks you don't speak ever. Like,
Right. I fucking hate
people
that.
come to me all the time. It's like, how you gonna have him not speak? He speaks all the. I've never not had a problem with him.
He
shit.
never
The problem is they want me to like I think subconsciously it's like a jealousy thing too. Like they'll sit there and be like, okay, he's talking to her, he's talking to him. How come he not talking to me? Kind of thing. And it's not even that. It's just like my thing is like unless we actively engage each other in conversation, I'm not just gonna walk up to you and just start rambling on about some shit. Cause I don't
That's
fuck
true.
with people like that. You know?
That's true. Yeah, I always find it entertaining when we are in somewhere and someone's like, oh, he doesn't talk that much. I'm like, he talks all the time. But even before we podcast, you've always spoken to me.
Yeah.
So I've never thought you don't speak.
Mm.
It's
And then
never
then they're
occurred.
surprised when I'm talking to them, like, who the fuck is this guy? Like, hey, listen.
But I think
All talk is
the
the epitome of bullshit, motherfucker.
but I do think what people don't gather about you is that
Mhm.
there is, and what I like, if we are working in the same space, we can talk for a bit and then I'll go read and you'll go do what you're doing. Like we can
Yeah, some people
exist.
just like some and like again, I can fucking ramble. I can fucking ramble.
Yes.
But it's
We
only
know.
when
We
Yeah.
know.
when I feel like it. It's like I get bored. Like I get bored quick. So like we can be sitting there talking. But if I'm done with it, it's like okay, I maybe I should just shut up because if I stop talking, this person won't talk to me and they'll walk off because like.
But I
okay,
feel like
he's
they
nothing.
feel some type of way when you stop talking. And I'm just like, okay, we're done. I'm
Listen,
gonna go read my book now.
We're adults. If you see me doing something else, like I've stopped what I'm doing to converse with you. Okay, you've taken me away
Yeah.
from life. Go back. Like, should you be doing some other stuff? Shouldn't you be working too? Like, why are you here in my face?
That's okay. You'll keep making them jealous. Or keep making them
And,
jealous.
and you know what? Who fucking cares?
And with that,
We say goodnight.
oh,
10 minutes.
good night,
ago.
everybody. Thanks for listening. Andy's an idiot. We're gonna stop recording.
They say I can't rap about the president no more, but evidently they don't see we in the streets still poor. Still more incarceration of my kinsmen by the prisons, and people thinking this election to end in racism. Proud over pessimism, glad to see Obama, but don't expect me not to speak out when I still see problems, Mr. Officer. Now they POTUS look like me, you gon' think again when seeing brothers rolling down the street. Every Martin Luther King on his American dream. Still a Rodney being beaten, screaming fuck the police. Me, I'm running through the pasture, trying to get away from master, but the dogs is on my ass, I gotta move a little faster. Can't pass for Caucasian, but I got a couple papers from the plantation saying I graduated. Congratulations, cool beans, but to most school mean trying to dodge STDs, living off government cheese. Trust the government, please. Not even if it was me sitting in the Oval Office as commander-in-chief, trying to give us free, but there's a nigga in my ear saying, you got it, Superman, you ought to keep it here. Get this distinctly clear, I'm all about jetting. Raps Kunta Kinte without the half-stepping. A new chapter, back with new lessons. After that, the final exam. Any questions?
QueenCityPodcastNetwork.com.